Oh, hey, my friends. Welcome to, I was going to say the next episode of Storytellers and Wild Creatives, but this is actually the first episode of 2025. Welcome to the future. So I'm super excited to kick this year off with some fresh energy. I got some, look, I'm just going to cut to it. I got the most glorious lady here with me named MA. And we got things that we've been doing together. And you might have heard or you might have attended our workshop that was on January 11th called Era of the Dreamers. It was super rad. It had like cosmic astrological insight with journaling prompts and blessing of our new journal for 2025. It was just an epic 3 hour workshop, which the replay is actually still available. I'll drop some stuff below if you're interested. But MA is here. We're doing some things and we want to share some stuff with you today. So, MA, welcome to the land of storytellers and wild creatives.
Hello, I identify with both. Uh, Thank you, Sage, for bringing me into the inner sanctum.
Oh,
So, we've been doing some things, and we are both quite giddy with excitement. And we're going to jump right into the juice because
right.
2025 is like sparking and ready to go. As I've said, and I said in our Era of the Dreamers workshop, this is a really bumpy year, and we've all we're feeling it, we're seeing it. So we're very aware of all the challenging circumstances that we're in worldwide. Uh, and also there's a really potent, incredible beauty about the opportunity this year for us to do a lot of really incredible inner healing, spiritual connection, intuitive, creative, real like a dream space, which is why we created that workshop with that energy. And we just knew that it wanted to be something that kept like something alive. We both had the sense that this was a living, breathing entity. And it basically like took us both under its wings and said, "Let's go, ladies." And we were like,
Look, it was an idea that turned to like a mission movement that
yeah,
we didn't even know was
I'm
happening.
getting all flushed.
I mean, you know, my son is in Leo, so I can be dramatic at times, but I'm not being dramatic when I say that since the workshop, I felt like something has cracked open, and it's almost like I'm wearing a different lens looking at 2025 now. And for all the peoples who listen to me, I'm a structure girl. I'm a planner. But in my core, though, I am very much a pantser jumping in, energized, like, let's go. So I'm trying to like live harmoniously between the two. And the thing that cracked open was not so much about letting go of the structure, but being in a place of trust when things organically come together and really paying attention to that. So as we're doing this work, and I'm like, oh shit, something's happening.
Hmm.
Not just missing it, but really leaning in and go, well, what's happening and how can we ride this beautiful wave?
Yeah. And all of that is really like emblematic of what the whole era of the dreamers just in general vibe is, which will mean whatever it's meant to mean for you in your own heart, listening, and it will absolutely crack us open and the perspective around what this year can be. Um, is really profound because I keep thinking about just the belief, like the true belief, not the hope that's like, sort of a cover for it's just like a label on something. And that's one of the things that I know Sage and I are going to go deep into is how we are like burning down so many of the constructs around, you know, uh, topics and themes like purpose and boundaries and sort of these things that we hear over and over again. And I think like belief and hope is one of them. And it stems probably from this sense of like, well, I can believe and hope, but it's almost contingent upon my circumstances. And we're
Yeah.
here to tell you that we both have some really hardcore lived experience that really has recalibrated both of us to to believe in the actual belief of what that is. And it's not, the circumstances are absolutely, they will impact your life 100%, but they will not define the whole tapestry of your life.
Yeah.
And I'll go a step further, they will form you. All the stuff that we're experiencing, again, in general, worldwide, countrywide, in your city, in your town, in your family, in your home, in your personal dynamics, it's all like you know, it's all the ingredients for just the most incredible growth. And I feel like we're really taking this on, like taking on like what it really means to grow, what it really means to believe, what it really means to dream.
Yeah.
And dreaming can be such a charged thing
Right.
because say more about the, what do we call it? The struggle dreamers.
The struggle dreamers. Yes.
There's a few different pockets of people that will identify with dreaming in a different way.
Yeah.
And Sage hit on one that I think is like is gonna resonate a lot. So,
Yeah. The struggle dreamers, I I see them as the folks who like they can't wrap their mind around that's attainable or that's
mhm,
even a thing that I get to do. Like that's completely out of my realm, that's out of my capability. Like it's not even possible. So it's like not even giving yourself permission to let go of all the noise, saying like all the logical stuff, being like, well, you don't have the money or you don't have this or you don't have the health or the energy. Like just like not even being able to go there or not even knowing like what they could create, like not seeing possibility in, well, what is more than what I am having doing right now, being like those are, I think, the struggle dreamers. It's like they can't even get through the gates of dreaming. They are just standing there like, well, what do I do?
mhm.
What's dreaming? What does that mean? That's like this falsehood. It's make believe. It's a play that isn't real. And so it's dismissed. And I think that's that inability to see possibility is what I think keeps us small and keeps us in place, keeps us stuck.
So the struggle dreamer. You
Yeah.
said the gate of dreaming, the gates of dreaming.
Yeah, they can't even walk through. They just stand there.
And when you were talking about all the different reasons or all the things that can drag us down, and it was like I immediately thought of like a bridge because we have to build some ways, which is one of the things that hopefully we'll do as we empower each other to figure this ish out, is to kind of build like sort of bypassing mechanisms for when that stuff hits you, and kind of like a bridge above whatever that murky water is, because some of the stuff is like, we can heal it and transform it, and but some of the stuff is just going to be there.
Yeah.
And so like, all right, just like boop, go over it and build a bridge that's strong enough. And that bridge is that trust
Mhm.
and the trust in ourselves, which is the only thing that nobody can take away from you, and is the thing that will keep you going, period, full stop, like no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, there's the struggle dreamers, and then there's the dreaming is for kids, I'm gonna say. Like dreaming is silly. And by the way, kids are some of the most powerful humans on earth. And right now, kids are showing us things that if we listen, we will, we will learn. So, but dreaming might be something that's left in childhood, or dreaming is frivolous. That's the word that always comes to mind, that we have to like not or take back frivolous. There's something about that word, like, and that dreaming is a waste of time. That dreaming is that you won't be perceived as a fully capable human an important human, a smart human. Those are all my sort of things that I have gotten stuck on if I'm too much of a dreamer. Because
Yeah.
unfortunately, most people have the relationship with dreaming that it's like, oh, but that's not going to, it's just not, it's not valuable.
Yeah.
And at the same time, without dreams, nothing gets done. Like without a dream, nothing literally exists because these are the ideas that come from nowhere and somehow you tend to them and you keep moving them forward. So that's the other one. Um, yeah, dreaming is silly, maybe.
And I think for me, I'm trying to think about the times in my life where maybe I dismissed dreaming and like why did I dismiss dreaming? And I feel like there was a huge portion of my life where I was living in survival mode. And so it
Yeah.
was like there was this huge scarcity around like, I don't have time for this. I don't have the energy for this. But at that time in my life, I had never seen the other side of living in survival mode. And I think when I got on the other side of that, then it was like the light came into the darkness and it was like, there is another way. It's not just push, push, push. That's actually not what this journey of life is supposed to be about.
Hmm.
Um, and I know sometimes our circumstances are like, you're in survival mode. That is real shit. And I think once you know that that's not the end game, then it's a choice. It's like a responsibility of like, well, there's another side. Like now I know better.
Yeah.
I know I'm not stuck in that place. And so it's up to me. I feel like dreaming is also a choice.
Yeah. When I think about my the moments when dreaming became sort of I put it aside or whatever, I get this sense of dreaming again, sort of compromising my ability to be perceived as somebody who was serious and smart and being born, having been born a total dreamer and also a very I had a lot of I'm sure that you did too, and many of us can relate to having this sort of like um wisdom thing inside that we couldn't quite place, but we felt like, we were kids kind of out of time. And so there's that. And then there's this idea of people kind of squeezing the dreams out and it not being cultivated in a way. It sort of stays, okay, then you release that. And so I definitely put on sort of a facade and a mask and did things that I was really good at, working in corporate and all this stuff. And the whole time I felt like, and I've thought about this a lot recently. I felt like, oh, there's something more. There's something more. There's something more. And I thought it was like more sort of an achievement in whether it was in that career or doing other things, but it was like a more of like a sort of quantity of experience more. And I realized as I've been doing a lot of this work at the end and the beginning of the year, specifically around Air of the Dreamers, is that what I was craving was not the more, it was just the alignment with who I was and the expression of my own my own like marker, my frequency. And that was what I was really truly craving. It was the align and the peace that comes with just operating as myself in the world, which is incredibly whimsical and dreamy. And also it's very serious and it's very academic and it's very like it's all of these things put together. And I think it takes, as we grow into ourselves, the reclaiming of all those parts and pieces that we may be like, yeah, like doused in certain times.
Love that. I'm just thinking about being a kid in school and making art and being so proud of it and having so much fun. And
Yeah.
like parents or teachers being like, you did such a good job drawing that snail or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, but then we reach this stage where then it's like being an artist is dumb because you can't make a living doing that. And then starving artist. And so it's just so interesting how we're in the beginning, not everyone, but a lot of children are nurtured into being dreamers. And then at what point do we decide that we're not allowed to dream? It's like, who made that decision?
Yeah.
why the fuck are we listening to them?
Completely. And what I'm thinking with that is like at some point it becomes transactional. I always think about that word like, it's a give and take. Like you do this in order to get that. So the art for a certain period of time is like just expressive. It's what you do, right? It's what you're expected to do. And then all of a sudden, as you enter maybe the teenage years, and it's almost like, well, you won't do art unless it's something that you're pursuing or something that you do because it's a class or do you know what I mean? And so even from the gaze of the parents or teachers or anybody who's caring for you, it's almost like a transactional thing. Like, oh, well, now all of a sudden it has to mean something. And then we take that. And so everything that we do, and we've talked about this in the scope of, the what we do in the world, you and I, and how this project sort of stood at the outside. And it really does feel like we're just doing this creative project that has no expectations. And we had trouble clicking into that because we always go into Sage and I are wired very similarly in that we're always coming up with ideas. Our brain is always like, "Duh, duh, duh," but then we always kind of like, okay, well, what does this mean for my business, for my teaching, for my podcast, for my art, for my, how can I somehow monetize this? Like, who else can benefit from this? That's always like, who else can benefit from this? And how can I turn this into something? And we
Yeah.
had trouble clicking in just yesterday. This conversation was yesterday, by the way.
When we
Things
say
are
we
mo
had
things are
trouble,
moving so quickly though, and that's another thing about this year. There's like the speed to it.
yeah,
So,
here we
but
are.
yeah, here we are.
Yeah, no, and I think I'm really like there's a part of me that's uncomfortable, and there's a part of me, a bigger part of me, I want to say, that is so excited
Mhm.
and so ready to like just be in this in this thing that we're doing. I don't even know, we don't even like what this
Yeah.
of the dreamers thing that we're doing, like because it feels like it feels so good in my body, like it makes sense in where
Mhm.
I am, who I am, my relationship with you. Um, and yet it's like the discomfort of going on a ride we don't know where it's going,
Yes.
essentially, like, but we know it's necessary, we know it's important, and we know we want to share it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what also comes up is that starting off with that excitement and moving through the first initial like stumbling blocks of which the excitement is bigger and then the what it will take to continue pouring into it. Because like any dream, life will be lifing and stuff will be happening. And how do we continue to believe, even when it feels like, why are we even doing this? We'll have plenty of moments like that because it happens in every friggin' project that you do. Why are we even doing this? And I can foresee moments when maybe we're both in that space and we'll have to like, all right, or maybe one of us and we'll kind of walk each other through that. And it also makes me think about the the like I'm getting all the chills around what it means to do something together with somebody else because there's like that almost like a safety of like I think about sort of like I put myself in a position of just doing this by myself and it feels kind of weird. Um, do you know what I mean? It feels kind of like it would be a lot harder. It would feel a lot more like I would put a lot more pressure on myself.
For sure.
And so the idea of even doing this in terms of building, we keep thinking that it's like not really a community. It's more like a movement. It's more like a, you just kind of like you feel it, you come for the ride, and but the
Yeah.
doing it not by yourself is makes a big friggin' difference.
Yeah. And I think that's why I think when I say it makes sense for me to do it with you, but then it makes
Hmm.
sense for us to do it together and then share it
Yes.
because we want to do it with others. Like we want to offer this experience, energy, whatever word you want to put in there, of staying connected to whatever it is you want to create, whatever
Hmm.
your dreams are, not our dreams, like you and your dream. Like that to me is one of the goals here is like,
Mm,
it wasn't about doing a workshop and then being like, peace out, good luck on life in 2025. It was just like, okay, so how are you doing? Are you
mm,
working on your journal? Like,
mm-hmm.
what did your last page look like? Like what's coming up for you? What and you know, that is what I think keeps us all in movement because when it doesn't feel good and you're by yourself, it's so easy just to stop because there's nobody there that's going to see you stop. There's nobody that's watching and going like, "Hey, I thought like how are you
How are you
doing?"
doing? Mm-hmm.
Nobody checking in and it's like when you're doing something with somebody else, you're in this like commitment of I'm going to hold you, you're going to hold me. We're going to go on this ride and does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes complete sense. And this will very well be could be an antidote to like bring you back into some sort of center because so much of what's happening again, happening around us will pull us in that other direction. And the majority of the energy that's like shared out there is one of lack, is one of fear, is one of it can suck you in. And I'm gonna bring in this art piece that we shared during the workshop. I want to make sure I got the artist right, John Holcroft. So to us, like Era of the Dreamers is kind of this. Um, it's you walking, you know, with this not just tending to the dream, the project, the thing, but also like healing that that connection with your own dreamer. It's almost I every time I think about it, it's like this um maintaining that spark alive, like tending to it, allowing that to be like the nest that you create for yourself this year, right? So adorning it with all these little things that you love, and it feels like a soft place to land in that doesn't disconnect you from the world, but rather makes you feel truly like empowered and at peace. Because when you're expressing all that stuff and flourishing despite the hardship, right? That's right there is like you're set.
And I think that's one of my favorite things about how we presented this workshop through a journal. Um, because I think the journal is almost like the bridge between the dream that could feel otherworldly and in a different realm and in your imagination. And then it's now this tangible thing you're holding in your body, grounded on the earth, right? So it's like you're I know, my journal. I know. It's it's so great because it's like time and time again I hear like, "Oh, I felt so good when I did this thing with you." And then it's like they get out of that container and then it's like boom, real life hits. People, kids are sick or like the laundry's piling up and the bills are due. And it's like that dream just like is somewhere in a closet buried under some dust particles now. And
Mm,
it's like, but life is going to keep lifing.
yeah.
Having this tool to go, yeah, shit is hard right now and I could just move some color in my journal and just be present with myself. It's not pretending that stuff isn't happening and it's not pushing your dreams away because you don't have the time or energy for them. It's like finding that in between. And I feel like my journal is that in between those two spaces.
Yes. All of that. And I was saying before that the bridge that like, we can go over all that stuff that is the circumstantial stuff, the thoughts, the blah 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 blah. This idea of the journal being the bridge.
Yeah.
Journal is the bridge.
The journal is the bridge.
And I will say everything you said, I'm gonna add my a personal take that over the past 5 years when my life has been like completely turned inside out. The each journal I basically carry one into the other has been an absolute lifeline. Like if I were to say one thing that has kept me grounded, it's been this. It's been the practice of coming to this space. And I have all of them right here next to me. and they have energy to them, and they have joy, and they have sorrow, and they have like teardrops, and they have coffee stains, and they have my son's little doodles on them, and it's like living, breathing life. So yes, it's all like legit,
Yeah.
legit.
I'm
And
just,
and on that note,
I'm like, don't mind me. I'm just in the wonder of this energy right now. I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, wait.
okay, I do want to share. So this is my page. So for those of you that are in the podcast, I'm showing a beautiful page that we did together at Era of the Dreamers workshop, which I did like the first, we set the stage and then Sage took us through these questions, which I got some very downloads that I was like, "Meh, wah, ah, ah." You had to see my face. We should put that on a GIF at some point and share it.
Yeah, that was
My
amazing.
face when I got one of the big ones that I was like, oh, damn. I wanted to share that as maybe an inspiration in case you're looking to create something beautiful and you're like, where do I even begin? That's where you begin because that's where everybody did something similar to this. And it's one of those things that you can always come back to. And it's just like, mm. And the way Sage takes us through it is so easeful and fun and just like, so if, yeah, had to
It,
share.
we cracked something open
We did. We really did.
and
Ooh,
really, really excited to do this for myself, to do it with you, MA, to do it with you lovely listeners who want to join.
mhm.
Um, yeah, there's so much heaviness in the world right now, and there has been for a while. It feels like almost like this bottlenecking kind of energy, like it's coming from all different sides, and it's like, how do we exist still being grounded, still wanting to like live in possibility? And I think this bridge is I mean, this is it. I'm signed up. I'm
Yeah.
signed up for myself. Like I'm doing
I'm
a journey with my journal, with you, with Era of the Dreamers. Like we're going on this ride because I really do think it's gonna take one another and our holding to get through this year.
yes. I felt that to my core.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it is gonna take that. And so we'll do it. We'll do it together because we're not gonna hide, we're not gonna cave in, we're not gonna just like close our eyes and wait till stuff to like pass us by. No, we choosing to be engaged in life and engaged from a way that really like, where we're radiating from within. And we're also, this will empower us to use our voice. It will empower us to find peace. It will empower us to make some really important decisions, I think, that are this year is going to have so many surprising moments for you. I'm talking about you, the listener, the viewer, you, Sage, me, MA. Like it's going to have so many surprising moments that will come in like a flash of insight. We're working with a lot of energy that's not sort of like practical. It's very much in the realm of things that will be revealed. And then the surrender piece and the piece where we get to like make the choice, like we did for this this thing that just revealed itself literally out of nowhere. This is like the poster child for that. Is we said okay, and we chose to trust ourselves and trust each other, and we have no idea what's coming, but we can sort of feel this overall thing, which is the essence of planting the seed of a dream.
Yeah, it's like we're real life dreaming and then sharing like this is how we feel or this is
Yeah.
what it looks like in this moment for us. And it's like,
Yeah.
may that be a reflection of whatever's coming up for
Yeah.
in whatever your dreaming is. And because I always feel it before I have the language. It used
Yeah.
to annoy me, but now that I know that's my process,
Yes, yes, yes. Completely. I feel it before I know the language. And I
yeah.
and I will say, I think on behalf of both of us, because we've talked about this, is that we are going to vow to be honest,
Mhm.
truthful, authentic, raw, you know, also for us and our own, I'm feeling like the like really go there in terms of sharing where we are to whatever extent feels good for each of us, obviously, but through the lens of this era of the dreamers um energy, like really go there and not we're not going to stay in the realm of um pop, fluffy, like fluffy in the good fluffy cloud sense, but not in the like empty promises, or we're really gonna like check ourselves every time we go someplace because there's no any of that sort of empty energy is just not going to be sustained this year
Mm-mm.
for anybody who's like out there doing something. The only thing that will resonate is something that's really comes from the soul. And that takes courage to go there for both of us because we've been pretty open books for in both of us and how we share. And I know this is going to take that a few notches.
Feel that.
And yeah. And I think we will both heal a lot of the parts of ourselves that have been shunning away from sharing some of those things and from being from that visibility piece, which is so tied to voice. Like being visible in your life is something that we tend to shy away from because of all the ways we've had to cover ourselves up. And so, yeah.
I'm getting this visual of like peeling these layers off,
Mm,
like just peeling them off. Like, I don't need you any longer. You do not serve me. Like,
yeah.
there's like this lightning that gets to
And
happen.
like
Real, like
real
happening.
time.
Yeah.
There's not, that's the other really cool thing about this is there's nothing like, it's just all real time.
No, it's all real time. There's no like agenda. There's no necessarily even structure. There's an intention, and it's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you can do all of this and you don't have to pay anything.
Right.
Should we mention that?
Yeah. Like we're not like the seeds that we're planting is for connection and community and witnessing and sharing experiences.
Hmm.
I mean, we discussed this, and there is no like there's no end game. Like we're not like, oh hey, listen to this or click on this because then here's
Yeah.
the next thing. There isn't a next thing. It's right now.
Yeah.
This
Y-
present, this is where we are and we want to share it with you. Because that's who we want to be in the world right now.
Yeah. Yes. And to add to that, again, I'll bring back my word transactional. There's nothing transactional except your willingness, your curiosity, right? Same as Sage and I are coming together to do these things where, you know, money hasn't even been like a thing. And we're both healing money wounds. Let's be very, very clear. We both need to pay bills. We're both healing money wounds. We're both in it. And so we're not like rolling in the dough and we're like, oh yeah, we have all this free time. It feels like what it is. And that there's nothing. I was even thinking like you don't even have to give us your email address. It's like there's no like you said, there's no give and take. There's no like there's a
It's
give and take that's not the ones that we're used to. Because we also believe in repatterning a lot of how things have been done. And I'm curious of how that could work in the future. I have no idea. But I know that new things and new ways of relating to each other are really emerging, especially this year. And so we're testing the waters in a lot of that sense as well.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot that gets to be dismantled.
Hmm.
And as like as an artist, as an author, as a businesswoman, like I am really looking at like how much I want to like dismantle and rebuild in an even more. And I feel like I do show up authentically and
Hmm.
open-hearted and super transparent. And I still see where I get to let go of old ways and old things and there's never, I don't think we ever reach a place where it's like, oh, I done all the work. It's so fabulous. Like that's to me, the joy is like seeing clearly where do I get to go next. And for me, it's like,
Mhm.
this is our heart like give of like we want to be here. Like there is no, again, the word agenda comes up because I feel like there's always an agenda for something, but like it's just us going, this is important, and it's your choice to if you want to show up for it or not. But hey, we're going to be doing this. If you want to come, it'll be cool, might be
Mhm.
messy, might be weird, it might be fantastical, and I'm here for all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too. I'm so excited. Oh, I think the only thing I'm gonna, well, we'll say our goodbyes now, but we will have an Instagram link below, which I'll create right after we record this. Because that will, we do want to have a place where we can begin to create connections, and we wanted to make it as easy as possible. I know, Sage, you're going to share some stuff on Facebook as well, but I'm not on Facebook, and I have my thoughts on Facebook. So real talk, real talk. But Instagram, I think, again, if you just want to keep the pulse of what's coming up, that's the only thing that we're going to have there. And then do the workshop.
For
Highly
sure.
recommend.
Highly recommend the
It's a
workshop.
bargain.
It is such a bargain. I mean, and I think this really, especially if you were like, oh my gosh, I totally relate to what they were saying about being a struggle dreamer, or that I dismiss dreams and I think they're silly. Like,
Or you're in fear about this year. What we were saying before, like the whole, like,
yeah, if you're feeling like discombobulated and you're like, I don't feel grounded and I don't have
mhm,
clarity, and this is just
yeah.
like a breath in and a breath out and some guidance. I think the discussion, the astrological guidance that MA gives, and then the journal prompts that I have, I think between those two, we start getting some clarity. We start getting some grounding and, creating some movement in the journal. Um, and again, it's not like you're not behind. You're not like, oh, I didn't do this, so I'm not going to understand. It's like be in the now, be present, do what feels good for you and your heart and your body. But highly suggest the workshop.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
super stoked about the Instagram.
Yeah. It's going to be beautiful. And I
Yeah.
think it's going to be also a great way for just the creativity to flow. Like,
Yeah.
it's a creative space. So
Yeah. And look, we don't
oh,
know. We don't know what we're going to be doing next week, in a month, in 2 months. Like we are letting our own dreams of this energy guide us. And so we don't know what this will evolve into, but how exciting that we're all evolving and moving forward together and
hmm.
witnessing this like real time creation.
Yep. Well, then,
You got anything else, MA? Or we
nope.
wrap this party up?
We can wrap it up.
All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here with us, listening in, taking the time in your life for us, for this, for some dream and talk, and inviting you in this space of curiosity of like really asking yourself, who am I as a dreamer? I think that is the best
Mm.
place to start. And we'll sprinkle some links. And if you want to connect and go on this ride with MA and I, like come on in. There's room for all of us. So take good care of yourself and we'll see you soon.
Cheers to the dreamers.
Here's to the dreamers.